What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation, man? I want to welcome y'all to the Sauce Sports Texans versus Jags pregame show. I want to apologize for the little bit of delay. Had a little bit of technical difficulty. You know, we ran a little bit, but it's all good. We still gonna drip some sauce for y'all this evening. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network. We're talking all sports, but only Houston. But today we're talking about the matchup between the Texans and the Jags. We want to welcome a special guest joining us tonight. Jagging coming off in enemy territory, so we're gonna show him some love, man. Appreciate you coming through. And then we have Mr. Wink and Mr. Tenney. But if you want to introduce yourself, Mr. Jagganoff, just to those who may not be familiar with you, and then we'll start getting into dripping some sauce real quick.
Okay. I know everybody's kind of disappointed that this ain't UCF Jaguar, but it's me. I'm still the GOAT of Jags Nation, the GOAT of Jags YouTube, the most recognizable voice of the Jaguars in the TTC, and I'm here to give Sauce Sports the gift of Jagganoff. Drink it in, man.
That's what's up. That's what the fuck I'm talking about, man. But like I said, we have y'all know round table members Tenney and Wink joining us.
And by the way, man, like I didn't know you was doing sports video, man. Like I was such a huge fan growing up with yours, man. Like Booker T, this shit's amazing, bro.
Oh, you got jokes. And it stars. That's a bet. We let him have it already. But see, okay, you gonna fit right in, and it's all good, all Gucci. So here's the deal, man. But before we get started, before we get into anything, man, we got to talk about the most important thing happening in the city, around the city, anything sports involved. We're not talking about the fight in L.A. last night. We'll talk about that later on today. But we got to shout out to Sauce Nation, man, because y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. We appreciate y'all coming through, showing love each and every day. So we're going to get into a little quick Sauce Nation roll call. If you don't know what the Sauce Nation roll call is, man, hey, all you got to do is let us know where you at. We're going to send a little bit of super saucy love in your direction, man. Again, if you are from the greater Houston area, shout out your side with pride. If you're not from the city, man, it don't matter where you're at. We'll still send some love in your direction. So go ahead. We're going to get that in action. And let's see who we got joining us today. Let's see. I see Wink holding down the chat and holding down the round. Kendra, Jamal, Vincent, Joshua, Warner, Broderick, Quincy, the nigga who could, Jamal. What did you get to, Jamal, goddamn? Texas boy, let's see. Press Rao, Heidi, Hiroshima. That's fucked up. The Unique, what's the motherfucking deal? The Cool Amber, Press Rao, Danny, what's the motherfucking deal? 335, David, what's the motherfucking deal? Boy, you gonna stop saying that shit, Kenneth? They gonna get on your ass, boy. But with that being said, man, Cool Amber, let's go ahead and get into it, man, because like I said, we running a little bit behind. So we're gonna get it in on time, man. Let's get into it, man. So today we got the Jags taking on the Texans in Jacksonville, and we got Phoenix out there giving us live updates and all that other good shit. But here's the deal, man. The Texans, Jags, both 3-3 right now. Texans on one of the sketchiest 3 game winning streaks you ever seen. The Jags not quite meeting some of the expectations they had coming into this season. You're a lot of guys talking about 16-0 going undefeated. You know, we expected a lot from that defense. We saw what happened last week. The Texans, you know, I don't know what happened. Fell all the way off last week. Offense couldn't really put it together. We know that Deshaun Watson's been hurt. And I think we're looking at a team similar to what we faced last year in the Bills situation without them having their star running back Fournette. Just a quick rundown, man. We'll start with Tenney. Tenney, what are your thoughts on this game? I mean, what is your quick expectation? Not necessarily your prediction, but what are you expecting to see with the outcome of this game today? Or what is the thing that you're watching for most in this game? I'm sorry.
And the thing I'm watching for most is going to be this defense versus defense, because these two defenses have a lot to come out here and do today. Our defense has to create the turnovers just as much as the Jags need to start getting back on to what they succeeded off last year. And absolutely, we cannot have Deshaun Watson throwing interceptions in the red zone. We can't be giving up the ball right as we're about to score. Like I said the other day on the stream, I mean, if we got to do it by field goals, we got to do it by field goals, but expect the defenses to show up today. I mean, our offensive line is no competition for this Jags defensive line. Expect it to get ugly and nasty and be a low-scoring game for the most part of this game.
Already, man. Wink, your thoughts. What are you looking for watching this game today?
Man, I'm looking forward, of course, to the Hopkins and Ramsey matchup. That's going to be a prolific one. It's going to be one that's going to be talked about throughout this week. I definitely am looking forward to seeing Deshaun Watson versus the Blake Bortles to see which quarterback, because I think when it all boils down, because I believe both teams are going to end up playing great defense on both sides of the ball. So we're going to give both teams their credit when it comes to the defenses. But I definitely think is really going to boil down to in the fourth quarter what quarterback is put in the best situation, and I ultimately think Deshaun Watson will be able to pull it off.
Now, jagging off, looking at it from the flip side perspective, from a Jaguars fan. Man, what are your thoughts, man? What are you looking for most for this game, from a Jacksonville perspective?
Well, I'm hoping somehow, we wake the fuck up because the goddamn defense was horrible against the Cowboys. It wasn't that good against the Chiefs. But, I don't know, that's this zone coverage shit we doing, that shit needs to stop. I know DeAndre Hopkins and Jalen Ramsey's always a good matchup, so I know he can play one-on-one with them. And offensively, just hopefully we can make some plays. I mean, J.J. Watt's been on a tear since he's back. Davian Clowney's obviously good. I mean, y'all got a very good front seven. So it might be tough, and Blake Bortles might have to use his legs a little bit, man. But I don't know. It's going to be an ugly-ass defensive game. I just hope we end up making a little bit more plays and enough to do at the end to win the game.
Now, looking at both of these teams, man, again, offensively, the Texans, to me, still haven't quite found that identity. Started off the season, as the number one running team in the league for the first couple of games, then kind of fell off. The passing game has been relatively consistent. Deshaun was seeing some good looks, I would say games 2 through 5. And then the 6th game kind of fell off statistically, but again, had the injury. We have a line that doesn't know what the fuck it is. It's just kind of a mismatch of pieces put together. And I think that's going to be a big problem coming up against this Jags defensive front, because that's just something that we have to be concerned about, because they, other than Dallas, they haven't really stopped anybody, and that was interesting that they were able to stop Dallas, because I think the Bills had, 7 sacks. Deshaun Watson is the most touched quarterback in the league with 70 hits on him, and the next closest is not even 50. I mean, that's something that you definitely have to look out for. I think that even though he's practiced all week, it's still got to be concerned that, coming off an injury like that, what was it, a punctured lung, bruised ribs, things like that, they will affect his game, and I think he'll be hesitant, still kind of concerned about the run. Got to see what's going to happen with Lamar Miller. But very good note on this game tonight is Andre Howell is activated. Or today, Andre Howell is activated, so that's a great story to hear. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him, if he gets some PT or if it's just kind of a feel-good story type thing. But I don't think they would not saying waste the roster spot, but if he wasn't ready to go, I don't think they would have activated him for today's game. So I think that's going to be very interesting. Real quick before we get into the next topic, man, shout out to Ashmel. Appreciate the super saucy super chat love. And he says, one time for CP3 and Melo, LA is a bust. I want that same fire from the Texans, though. Shit, one time for the city of lean, hook, and sinker. Man, that's what I'm saying. I would like when your basketball team out there looking tougher than your football team, man, that is a concern. But, hey, we'll see what happens today. Again, divisional game, 3-3. Right now, I'm not sure if the Titans still losing or if they've caught up or what. Okay, so.
Third down,
okay. So here's the deal. We need the Titans, in my opinion, we need the Titans to take that L. And then right now, this would be yeah, Bank said that we on the same path. The one thing we can agree on, fuck the Titans. But here's the deal. We need right now. This is going to be a battle for again who's kind of holding down that first place in the division. We got one division win. I don't think the Jags have gotten one yet. I don't think they played the Colts.
No, we haven't.
And so I think that'll be a concern. So if we can take this one, I think then we're in the conversation. But then still some more to go. And it would look like a very unlikely story for this situation for the Texans, especially coming down the way they started this season and the opportunities that they whiffed on. But let's kind of get into it, man. Looking at this offense versus this defense, and we're talking about the Houston offense versus the Jags defense. We'll start with jagging off, so we'll get the opposite perspective. What is it that you see that your defense can capitalize on against this Houston Texans offense?
Well, I would say, like I said, the good matchup that DeAndre Hopkins presents to Jalen Ramsey. In my opinion, DeAndre Hopkins is the third best receiver in the NFL. I think he guy's a fucking monster. But luckily, we have somebody that can kind of contain him. And the run game, I think is a little bit suspect. So I think we're gonna have to force Deshaun Watson to beat us. And really, I thought Deshaun Watson was gonna take a next step and be an elite quarterback this year. I really liked him his rookie season. Unfortunately for us, but I think that's the way we're going to have to attack you guys, is just take Hopkins away and make Deshaun Watson beat us.
There's definitely a multitude of reasons why Deshaun hasn't taken that next step. I mean, not putting the right pieces around him, the play calling kind of going backwards a little bit this year early on, but I think that we kind of, hopefully that problem is fixed. But, Wink, man, your perspective, now looking at this Texans offense versus this Jags defense, what strength does this Texans offense have against this Jags defense, if there are too many of them?
Well, I'd say the matchups are really about even. I mean, the receivers, if you get them involved, and if you get our tight ends involved in this football game, along with the running backs in space, it's the only way that I can, guarantee a win against the Jaguars, because wheel routes, running backs getting into space, they haven't been as sure tacklers this season as they were last year. So even though they got guys that's going to fly around like Miles Jack, much respect to them guys, but they can be had underneath. They can be had over top, and you have to run things that confuses them. So honestly, if they do a lot of motions, if they do a lot of things that they haven't shown that they've done in weeks prior, Bill O'Brien can go ahead and get a win. But the biggest factor in this game is going to be Bill O'Brien versus Doug Marrone, and whoever has the best game plan and who makes sure that the team has some juice. Because if these guys come out flat, as Texans fans, we're going to be in the chat talking throughout this entire game. We're going to know Robins are going to rely, and we're going to see very early on. It's not going to take 4 quarters to know who's going to win this football game. I think it's going to take about the first half of the game is going to be very telling. And if Blake Bortles is in a situation where he has a comfortable lead, I don't see them losing it. So that's pretty much my take right now.
Okay. Tenny, man, same question for you, man. With this Texas offense compared to this Jaguars defense, and this offense has been a little up and down this year, we've seen that the Jaguars defense is capable of getting scored on with the proper play calling, not those long developing BOB type situations, man. What do you think this offense can do against the Jaguars in this game?
Man, this offense has to win in space. I mean, absolutely. We got to get the ball to guys' hands out in space, because like we touched on it. I've noticed with the Jags defense this year, they don't get a whole lot of hats to the ball like they did last year. Everybody was hungry for tackles last year, whereas this year they're allowing more players to do single tackles. And some of them work in some situations, but we have the speed in the wide receiver set with Will Fuller and Kiki Kuti, and I touched on this the other day. Those guys, you got to set this game up with those guys, then move to Hop. We can't rely on Hop in the first quarter and the second quarter, just constantly throwing to him on the out routes and all that stuff, and getting him out on the sideline and trying to make that quick catch. We need this offense to get space. I mean, like I said, we could win this game with 40 rushing yards or 50 rushing yards. It just depends on how we get those yards and when we use those yards. And we have to go left or right. We can't go up the middle against this team. I know Calais Campbell and Ngakwe, they're going to be out there and they're some good run stoppers, and they're very good at what they do in the pass game, but we have to attack them in space. We have to get them moved around. We can't let them bunch up and use their strength against us.
And again, like I said, I think it's going to be a very
one more note to that. I think Will Fuller, like, if he gets space, he could end up having a big game for you guys. Because I don't know what the fuck's wrong with AJ Boye, but he's kind of been fucking up lately. So, Fuller could end up having a big day today.
The trick to AJ Boye's success is he walks the line. He doesn't mind getting a penalty.
Exactly.
So when he fails at it, he fails at it spectacularly. But when he succeeds at it, he succeeds at it spectacularly.
Exactly. I know his ass can't tackle either.
And I see a situation like this. As long as Will Fuller utilizes his hands properly, and if he's in situations where he's in the slot, or if they moving DeAndre Hopkins around in the slot, you have other matchups on the outside. And as long as he's using, it's no way that AJ Boye can keep up with him speed wise. It's not. No one on this team can run with Will Fuller at all. Tayshaun Gibson is the only help that you guys are going to end up having deep for any guys who has the best speed on that secondary. And it just depends on their game plan. But it's just like we all saying, man, it's some things that we both see on both sides that could benefit this football team. But it's also some things, if they don't do the things the right thing, this game can get out of hand very quickly.
Okay. And shout out to Asma. Said CP3 respect. Took me a week to recover the hamstring. Appreciate the super saucy super chat love. Now let's flip the script real quick, man. Looking at the opposite end of the ball, we'll start with Tenny, man. Now this defense has been kind of coming on a bit stronger the last few weeks. It seems like JJ's found his groove, Jadavion's found his groove. We're still wondering what's up with Whitney Merciless. The return to Andre Howe should definitely be should energize the team, to see a guy like that coming back who was going to be your starting safety. And I think that gives you the leverage to move a guy like Kareem back to corner is what I'm expecting that to see because, we've seen some injuries in that department. And that offense, man, you don't know what Bortles you're going to get from one game in and one game out. I talk about regressing to the mean, and I think that's kind of what's happening. Without Fournette, they're not as potent. They have to rely a little bit heavier on Blake, I think, more than they would like to. I feel like this team goes as Fournette goes, and with Fournette not going today, I think it's going to be a problem for him. I want to know your opinions, man. What do you think that this Texans defense can do versus this Jags offense to capitalize in this game?
And what they could do is trust in their run defense, man. We shut Zeke down. We shut a lot of good guys down this year so far. And we just need to trust in that. And the simple fact that I've seen somewhere that Hal is playing and Sharice Wright is out. So expect Kareem to move back to cornerback and expect Hal to get some snaps today. It'll be Justin Reed, Hal, and Tyron. And I expect to see Hal used sparingly, not full force. But we can't let them succeed in that underneath shit. The Jags early on in the season had a lot of success with the short pass, and their fucking guys were making shit happen, and they were getting the yards to get the first down to move the ball. And we can't let them succeed at that shit. We know damn well they're going to try to establish some kind of a run, so that way it keeps the defense honest. But like I said, we just got to trust our run defense. We have the capability of stopping the talent that they have up front, but also we need to be able to slow down those wide receivers because they're quick when they get the ball, and they can't create space for themselves. So, honestly, J-Joe, Kareem Jackson, if you're listening, if you're in the locker room, get your A game out because you're going to need it today. We need sharpness today.
Wise, man. Not Wise. Wink. I'm thinking of Wise. We were talking about in the chat. I was reading some shit he was saying in the chat. Wink, man. Your thoughts, man. What do the Texans need to do on defense to capitalize versus this Jaguars offense? Where can they find some success?
Now that they have, if Andre Hal is playing, you need to put situations where Kareem Jackson is blitzing off of the edge. They need to bring 5- and 6-man pressures at times in this game. The O-line has not played particularly well this offseason, so I think a person like Jadeveon Clowney, and my sneaky play of the game is going to end up being Bernard McKinney, because if DJ Reader is up front getting that major push, against Lindler, and if you have Norwell getting out of situations, Jadeveon Clowney and Duke Ejiofor could easily have stunts, run dog concepts, and make Blake Bortles very shaky in the pocket, and that's how he'll end up making a mistake. I see a situation where Kareem Jackson is going to have a hell of a game. He's played very well against Blake Bortles. So has Andre Hal and Jonathan Joseph. So this isn't a situation where these are guys that they don't know this guy. He's still the same Blake Bortles. Jags fans know it. We know it. It's just that now it's coming to fruition. Some Jags fans were very mad that he got a contract from Shad Khan, and a lot of people felt that, he got 2 playoff games. What do y'all quarterback got? So we can believe in our quarterback now. No, bro. He's still Blake Bortles at the end of the day, and you can't trust no man that has the last name Bortles in a Jags uniform. At some point in the game, he's going to, if you leave the ball in his hands, which this game is going to be very one-dimensional, if you leave him in situations where he has to be on 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, long third down situations, then y'all need to go ahead and y'all need to break a lot of pressure, and please run bump and run concepts. It is no reason that you guys need to be playing off, and I feel the secondary, if they need to double anybody who could hurt this football team, is Kellen Cole. This man can go up and make big catches down the seams. He's very good at post routes. I mean, I'm going to give this man some respect because he showed up and showed out against us last year. D.D. Westbrook, at times, he'll probably be able to stretch the field, but I'm not as worried against him as I am against Cole, because I feel he's a bigger play option when it comes to this football game. And that's just how I see it.
Now, flipping the script, looking at it from the opposite end. Man, jacking off, what can the Jags do without your main option in Leonard Fournette? How do you see the Jags offense being able to thrive against this Texans defense?
Well, I can tell you right now that our offensive line is going to have a hell of a time because, as y'all probably know, Cam Robinson's out and Jeremy Parnell is ass. And also, Will Richardson, a rookie who I was lobbying to play some tackle for us, he's now on injured reserve. So we got a very banged-up offensive line. I think what it's going to come down to is Bortles making plays happen for himself in the pocket. Like, I know what Wink was saying, how he trashed, and I'll give you my perspective on Bortles. Bortles is a good quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback, and he probably never will be a great quarterback. Like you said, you don't know which Blake Bortles you're going to get. He's inconsistent as hell. He bipolar as a motherfucker. But like I said, I think he's going to have to move the pocket himself a little bit, and find his guys, Westbrook and Cole. Like, both of those guys are capable of making big plays. Like, when Marquise Lee went out for the season, everybody was all getting on us and shit. Like, I was thinking, like, that's not even the one to worry about for us. Like, it's either Cole or Westbrook. But I thought DJ Chark would have more of an impact. Like, he's slowly catching on. Like, I think he might have more of an impact late in the season. But hopefully they can get Carlos Hyde going in the running game too, and get some sneaky screen passes out to TJ Young because I said this before we went on the air. TJ Yeldon's not an every down back for us. He's an excellent third down back. So like I said, I think it's going to come down to hopefully Bortles can be consistent and not make stupid ass throws and hopefully and make plays for himself. Hopefully, a lot of times with his legs too, because he is very sneaky with his legs. He's very sneaky as a mobile quarterback. So I just think some way we have to find, like, even put extra tight ends or something on Watt and Clowney when they're coming off pressure. Just make some shit happen. I guess find fucking Cole and Westbrook somehow.
No, man. Ain't sounding too confident, man.
I'm not.
So, man,
not with our offensive line right now. Like, if we had Robinson, I think we'd be all right. But like, it's just like, I don't know. You just never know what Bortles you're gonna get.
I mean,
that's the thing.
So just kind of with this streak that y'all were taking off, starting off looking good. I mean, what would you, as a Jags fan? I'm gonna be honest. I peek around the corner sometimes and look, but I'm not paying that much attention to him. I mean, what would you personally blame, as a hardcore Jags fan, as the biggest problem that y'all been facing these last few weeks?
Well, I said a long time ago, even before Corey Grant went on IR, we need to get another running back. We need to have a different option for Fournette because health has been an issue. And honestly, our play calling besides the Patriots game on offense has been shit. And lately, Todd Wash going into the zone coverage that we do has been shit. Like, you have Jalen Ramsey and AJ Boye, two top corners in the NFL. Let them play man. Let them do their job. Let the other guys get pressure because we got quick ass linebackers. We got a defensive line that can generate pressure without a blitz. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue, Calais Campbell, they're both fucking monsters. They're both Pro Bowl players. So I don't know. I think Ty Wash is basically misusing our defense and getting away with what we were doing last year, and it's not working. You need to go back to just letting Ramsey and Boye play man and, let the other guys beat themselves. That's why we were so successful last year, and we're kind of getting away from that.
Now let's talk about a particular matchup, man. It's a matchup that we all love to see. I think one of the best matchups in the league when it comes down to it. Easily the best matchup in the division between two guys that you love to see every year, and that is Jalen Ramsey and DeAndre Hopkins, man. So, Jag fans feel one way, Texans fans feel another way. Some of the successes that we would say Jalen had from a Texans fan's perspective is, look at the quarterbacks that he's played against him with up until this point. The one time he did get a little action with Deshaun Watson, drove it down the field, scored. Other than that, it's been a litany list of trash cans, probably more generic than Bortles, and according to Jadeveon Clowney's opinion. I just kind of want to know how y'all feel. We'll start with 10 and then work our way back around and around. Man, looking at this matchup between two of the top-tier players at their positions in this league, man, who do you ultimately see coming out with the upper hand this week?
Who do I ultimately see? I want to say DeAndre Hopkins, bro. I mean, he's just having a phenomenal season this year. I mean, he put two games back-to-back with over 150 yards receiving. This past game, he did everything that he could to help out. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is trying to separate himself from everyone else in the league. He's trying to fucking separate himself from the Odell Beckhams. He's trying to separate himself from the fucking Antonio Browns and all that other shit. He's trying to show that he has been successful for a reason. And absolutely, I think that DeAndre Hopkins, as good as Jalen Ramsey is, he's gonna make those tilting plays that seem to go one way or the other, and it help this team succeed today.
Give me just 1 second, real quick. Let me fix them. I'm gonna put the pause on for just a second. We'll be right back with y'all. Yeah, look, I know all that shit came back. We ain't doing another roll call. Players fuck up sometimes. Sometimes, little graphics, they do their own thug thing. Wink, man, your thoughts as far as Jalen and Hop? I mean, honestly, if you're a football fan, period, regardless if you're a fan of the Texans or the Jags, or, if you love the game of football, this is a matchup that you should look forward to seeing every year and thankfully twice a year. But I think the quarterback play definitely contributes to how well it is, because we saw a big difference between, when you have a guy like Savage in and then compared to a guy like Deshaun Watson, even though Watson only got a small look. So I want to know your thoughts, man. The Ramsey versus Hopkins matchup, who do you see ultimately having the upper hand with that one today?
That's what Jack and all said, and I have noticed that they have not been playing a whole lot of man. It should be when you have tall press corners, the way that they have. And honestly, if they're going to be playing a lot of zone this game, especially if they're running a whole lot of cover three, DeAndre Hopkins is going to find seams and that shit with shallow crosses. It just depends on concepts all day. I really feel if they squatting on routes, it's going to be in a much easier situation, because I don't really see the Jags as a cover two type of team. They could probably play cover three. They could play a lot of, just a lot of man. They could bring like a lot of fire blitzes and a lot of things that we suggested that the Texans should do, and that they have been doing a lot lately. But ultimately, I see DeAndre Hopkins. I see him. He may end up getting one score, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot of situations where they're going to be going back and forth. But I think all the work that he's done in the offseason, and the fact that he took advantage of every single DB in the league last year, and he's continuing to do it this year, I don't really see Jalen Ramsey being as much of a problem, especially since he's a bigger corner. That matchup is going to be favorable for him this season in this game.
All right, very interesting. Man, Jagging off, flipping the script, I want to see it from your perspective as a Jags fan, kind of just give me your thoughts on the rundown of the history between Jalen and Hopkins, and who do you see having the advantage this game?
I mean, like I said, it's a great matchup. It's been fun to watch over the past couple of years, but like I said, I think if they let Ramsey play Hopkins one-on-one, I think he still has an advantage, but a player like DeAndre Hopkins, you're not going to completely shut him out. You can only limit to what he does. Just hopefully we'll have a good game plan today. And like I said, let Jalen Ramsey do what he does best and play the top guy one-on-one. And we know that he can play with Hopkins. That's no secret. But like I said, Hop's going to eat a little bit. It's just a matter of how much he eats. And I think that's where Ramsey will have the advantage. And, I think it's going to depend on Deshaun Watson finding your other targets because the limited role Hopkins might be in today.
Now, I want to take another look at another interesting comparison, not necessarily a matchup, man, but let's take a look at both of these quarterbacks and kind of how they've fared so far this year. I think big expectations were coming in for both of these guys in their respective programs. And I don't think either one has really panned out the way either one of these fan bases have expected. Now, Deshaun Watson has had limited protection, if you want to call that protection at all. I think he probably have more protection just wearing a rubber and going out there with no line. But, it is what it is. We've seen some pieces kind of look good. Again, like the Dallas game is like the one anomaly that they actually look decent and were able to stop people. But again, this man has been banged up, 70 fucking hits. That's ridiculous. Some of that is from scrambling, but the overwhelming majority of that is from standing in the pocket, trying to make plays, with his arm and not so much his feet. Because there's been a couple of games where he hasn't ran at all and he's still getting demolished. Bill's game, he didn't run at all, got demolished. Early in the season, he really wasn't running as much because I noticed I was wondering if his knee was still bothering him or something. But I think they were trying to develop him into more of a pocket passer. He wasn't running as much, still getting creamed. And so my thing is this, especially with that situation, you can't turn a guy into a pocket passer with no pocket, and that's a problem. Bortles' situation, I think, has a bit more talented line. I don't know if it's just decision making. I don't know exactly, again, like I say, I feel like it's regression to the mean because we've seen him do that before. And it's not that I think he's just completely trash. I think he's, quarterbacks have a mentality. Especially if you got an arm and, you feel like you can make all the throws. I think sometimes quarterbacks can have a little bit more confidence in themselves than maybe the fan base does. We've seen Watson take some of those stupid-ass plays and just heave that bitch into the end zone expecting some magic to happen. And some magic did happen for the other fucking team. So just kind of taking a look at these two guys, man, and then, we'll work our way back. We'll start with jagging off. I mean, just in a comparison, your thoughts on comparing both of these guys in the seasons that they're having so far. I mean, what do you see that Bortles does better than Watson in your opinion, and vice versa?
That's tough to say because both of them are very comparable. Like they're having similar type years and have the similar type problems. Like we all know the Texans had a bad offensive line to begin with, but Jacksonville had started off. We had a decent one, but then injuries kind of hit us. Like I think we're down to our third string left tackle, and then Jeremy Parnell, I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but he's playing like ass. AJ Cann's had a down year. Like the only two really putting in the work is Norwell and Brandon Linder. But I think Watson's biggest advantage over Bortles is I think he definitely has a stronger arm. Like Bortles has a weird ass throwing motion and can't make like every throw, but can make most of the throws. Watson's the type of guy that can make every throw. But mobility, I think it's about the same. And depending on what Blake Bortles shows up, I think Watson also kind of has an advantage in decision making. So I'll say it here. I think Watson definitely, even now, still is the better quarterback.
We move on. We'll consider a couple other options that were out there. I mean, were you confident coming into this season with Blake Bortles, or was there another quarterback that was available either via the draft or trade that was made available that you would have been more interested in being a quarterback outside of Blake Bortles for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Well, yeah, I was confident coming in with him for sure. Like, I mean, the guy had a good year. I mean, he was the best quarterback in the South last year. But the past two games, he's kind of been shit. It's just like I said, it's just a matter of what Blake Bortles showed up. But like with the deal we gave him, like it's still time where we're not going to lose too much if we end up releasing him. So this year is the only year that's really going to hurt us with how his contract is. So I mean, and other than that, I'm really like, other than maybe overpaying for Kirk Cousins like Minnesota did, like there really wasn't that too many options out there for us unless we pulled off some like ridiculous trade or something like that. So I think it was the right decision re-signing Bortles, and after what he did last year, I think you had to give him another year. But after this year, they might want to think about drafting competition for him, and I just think from other Jags fans' perspectives, I think the city's just kind of done with them. I think they're never going to be satisfied with them. So it might be time to move on unless he like really gets his shit together lately.
And as we're moving on, we're going to ask Wink, we're going to talk to Tenny, but make sure y'all go ahead and get those Mark My Words ready because we definitely want to get that going. I'm starting to catch the time. I realized we got in here a little bit later than expected, and so go ahead and get your Mark My Motherfucking Words. But if you don't know what Mark My Motherfucking Words is, hey, that means you got to put a bold prediction out there. I mean, you got to lay it on the line. Can't be no, well, I think Lamar Miller's going to have 62 yards rushing and, 2 catches for 14 yards. You got to make a bold motherfucking prediction. I mean, you got to put it out there, and again, Lamar gonna eat today, I'm telling y'all. But here's the deal, man. So go ahead and put a bold prediction out there, man. Let us know what you really motherfucking feeling, and we'll get those Mark My Motherfucking Words down, and then we'll get Wink's perspective, man. We'll get Wink's thoughts. Man, looking at these two quarterbacks, making a comparison. I mean, what do you see that Watson does better than Bortles? And in your mind, is there anything that Bortles does better than Watson?
There's absolutely really nothing that Blake Bortles does better than Deshaun Watson. Like, it's really not. Like, I mean, I'm not even saying it because we have a guest on. I'm not saying it because Blake Bortles has given us Blake Bortles has proven and done more than enough. And he's been in this league for 5 years. Deshaun Watson hasn't even had a full 16 games to prove what he is and what he isn't right now. And honestly, he's shown big playability. He's shown to be able to go against some of the better defenses and still keep you in games. And he feels that with Deshaun Watson, you feel you have the chance to win always. Even when he's playing bad, you're still in the fucking game. No matter what. Like, it does not matter. If Blake Bortles is not winning, if he is not ahead, and if he's not comfortable in his, and if he's not on, he's just not on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson can be off, but he was still in the Patriots game. He was off, but he could still be in the Titans game. He was off, but he could still be, and I forgot who we played the third week that we lost to. I don't even remember, but it doesn't even matter. We were the Giants. But we were still in that game. It was still a very winnable game. It's just that we weren't capitalizing on red zone woes. We fixed that. I mean, what I am willing to definitely concede and say that Bortles does have, and that is very comparable. He can hurt you with his legs, man. He's done it in the past with us, and he is very good at extending drives if he gets open and he gets out of that pocket and he has a receiver that helps him out and secures the catch. So I am definitely willing to say that he can do that, but his decision making it sucks, and it's just good to see that Jags fans are being truthful about the situation, even though a lot of other, franchises, including us, told Jags fans before the season even started that they were rude today. Just like Titans Up. Titans Up just texted me like 5 minutes ago, and he's giving me my card about what we were saying about Mike Vrabel. We told Titans fans, pipe the fuck down. Y'all think y'all getting hot because y'all beat us and y'all beat the Jags. Bro, don't get it misconstrued. Y'all trash. Mike Vrabel's going to end up showing, and now y'all 3-4 now. You know what I'm saying? So don't get it misconstrued, bro. The only two teams in this division who have a fighting chance to make a winning push are the teams that are playing today, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans, who will end up being who will end up being the deciding factor. Whoever proves they wants to win this game is going to be up to the quarterbacks and the defenses, and that's point blank. And whatever, and like I said, whatever head coach has the better game plan and does the better job at scheming, because scheming is going to be the deciding factor. I mean, we can kind of take what I just said and revamp on that situation, but hey, I mean, that's what's going to matter. Doug Marrone or fucking Bill O'Brien, who's going to be the better coach today?
All right, man. Tenny, man, I want to know your thoughts, man. Comparing Watson, comparing Blake Bortles, who does what better, and who would you say was the better quarterback overall, man?
Statistically speaking, outside of rushing yards, they're brothers. They're twins. I memean, they have the same stats this year, the same TDs to interceptions, except I think Bortles got more. I think he's got like 8 interceptions or some shit.
Yeah, it's because that Kansas City game had fucked him up bad.
Yeah. So I mean, just to put it into perspective, look, you got to look at it like this: who's playing with handicaps and who's playing with the God mode on with the video game. And right now, Bortles has a better line, has better opportunities than what Deshaun Watson's been afforded this year. He's got a better coach. He's got better scheming that fits his play style. That's the only reason why Bortles is having some success at the beginning of the year, whereas Watson is struggling with poor talent around him as far as the offensive line, poor play calling, and poor utilization of his wide receivers. I mean, let's face it, O'Brien likes the routes that take 5 seconds to get open, and when we need to have routes that take 3 seconds to get open, fire and shoot as soon as you get that damn ball snapped in your hands. So, I mean, Watson has struggled a little bit this year, but he's hands down a better talent than Bortles is. And Bortles can never say that he can amount to the accolades that Watson has. And definitely after only a year and a half, Watson can still improve. Whereas Bortles, I think he's kind of leveled out.
So here's the deal, man. As we start getting ready to wind down, and I want to get 2 things from y'all who joined us today in the stream, and then y'all know in the chat, hey, when I'm talking, asking these questions, I want to know y'all's thoughts on these questions too, because that's what the sauce is, man. Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients. Without y'all, man, there is no flavor. We'll start with Tenny, man. I want to get a mark my words from you and a score prediction, man. What do you think the ultimate outcome of this game is going to be? Who's going to stand out? I mean, just let me know. Give me a good rundown of what you think is going to happen.
Mark my motherfucking words, Kiki Kuti puts up 110 yards and 2 touchdowns today. And we win this game 22-14. 110. Mm-hmm.
Wink, man. Give me a mark my motherfucking words. What you got on this game?
I got this game, Texans 23-17. It's going to be a hard-fought defensive game, and I see Jadeveon Clowney getting 2 sacks and causing a forced fumble against Blake Bortles.
No.
And I also see him getting in the post game and calling them trash once again.
All right, man. Jacking off, man. Like I say, you may be new to this, but I'd like to know your thoughts, man. Give me a bold prediction and a score prediction for this game. Mark my motherfucking words.
Hey, by the way, mark my motherfucking words. That is the best segment for a sports show name ever. Like, that's creative as shit, bro.
Appreciate that.
That's awesome. That's what's up. Okay. Mark my motherfucking words. Yannick Ngakoue is going to have 2 sacks. And also the Jags win this game 20-17. Just somehow I feel we're going to find a way to get it done.
All right. Well, man, look, I'll give y'all something. I'll give y'all what I got. I feel like this defense here is going to be inspired from return to Andre Howell. I think that Kareem Jackson continues a habit that he has against Blake Bortles, and that's the pick, if not taking it back to the house. You know, I think that they were feeling fired up, those 2 turnovers they got at the end of the game, late last game. So I'm going to say Kareem Jackson and Andre Howell both have INTs today. And I'm going to say the Texans win this game. I think we'll make it a little bit closer than I like. I think some points are going to get put up on the board today. I'm going to say the Texans end up winning this one 28-24. And a little bit closer. I think it's going to be some late game heroics that's going to come from Watson to take this one. But again, man, so like I say, we're going to get ready to wind it down here because I know we got started a little bit later, but we want to give everybody time to, get their pregame snacks together, get settled in and get ready for the game, man. So starting with jacking off, man, at first we appreciate you. Will you be joining us for the post-game show, or will you be available? If not, we understand.
Yeah, I should be, man. Hit me up. I'll come back.
Okay, cool. That'll be a good deal.
Enjoy my time with y'all. I mean, this is a nice little setup show y'all got, man. This nice.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you having me.
Coming from a division rival, bro. It's legit.
Appreciate it. That's real love right there. You got anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Duval.
Maybe I shouldn't have left that invitation open. God damn.
Yeah, you should. have.
I ain't mad at you. You got to represent, man. Wink. What's the motherfucker deal? You got anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
And just make sure y'all tune in for the post-game show. It's going to be another live one. Just make sure that these guys do what they got to do, and y'all make sure y'all tune in to Sauce Nation for the post-game show.
Already. Tenny, man, anything you want to say before we get up out of here?
Man, definitely shout out to the chat for showing up, guys. Shout out to Jagging Off for showing up, man. I know, like he said early on, a lot of other guys wanting somebody else on here, but that somebody else didn't answer the call. So Mr. Jaganoff answered the call. So y'all thank him for showing up for y'all's team right there.
Hey Teddy, yeah, I know everybody's disappointed that it's not UCF Jags.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm not him. I'm sorry.
But you know what, Jaganoff? Since you shouted out that Duval shit, let me just show you right now. You got the number 80. You remember when number 80 used to do that in Duval? So you know what? We come back today.
I do remember. Hey, I do remember. I was always a fan of Andre Johnson. He won me over ever since he punched Cortland Finnegan in the face.
I think he won the nation over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, out of everybody that's ever played in the division, I'd say Andre Johnson's my favorite player.
Okay. Well, here's the deal, man. If y'all don't know how it goes, man, if y'all don't know how it operates, man, we will be live immediately after the game for the post-game show. So, again, we'll open up the Sauceline, so we'll be taking your calls after on the post-game show. We don't want to hear from y'all on the pre-game because y'all be talking too much. But, we fuck with y'all. We love y'all, Sauce Nation, man. But after the game, again, Sauceline will be open for your calls, for your texts. Man, shout out to Chandler, man. My bad. Shout out to Chandler because he sent some love early. And, Chandler always holds it down. He said shout out to Honcho, Tenny, and Wink. And he also sent some love. Let us know that the Titans lost. And I think that everybody in the division benefits from that. So with that being said, man, what you got?
I'm sorry, man. I didn't run, but I got a message from a Charger fan. He said, "Y'all welcome."
Okay, man. We'll tell him thank you, man. We're gonna send him some donuts and some shit.
Now, Tenny, one time, bro. Before we get off, before we go into this divisional game, because we've been waiting on this game, bro. You gotta fire everybody up, bro. I'm trying to go into this.
Give us some trash talk to lead us.
Because you ain't getting no TTC this week. You ain't do no TTC this week.
I was looking for you, Tenny.
Well, I slowed the roll down because we ain't been too good, but I'll put it down this. Look, I know Mr. Doug Marone. I run out on the boys. Marone ain't got shit from fucking Buffalo, and now he about to run out on the Jags with a quick, easy paycheck. And let's not forget about old trash can Bortles. I mean, he gonna be throwing picks all day. Fuck this dude. TJ Yeldon. I don't even think the college coach that TJ Yeldon played under knows who he is. So, I mean, let's put it out there like this. The Houston Texans are about to come out here. J.J. Watt's about to put him down on the ground, and Jadeveon Clowney's about to do that old prison rape scene.
Teddy, you remember what happened when you talked this kind of shit last year, right?
Well, I said I talk shit about the defense. That's why I stayed away from it.
Said, who is your pass rush? And Yannick Ngakoue raped y'all, bro.
But like I said, Houston Texans fans, get ready because Bill O'Brien has reached deep down into his soul and found the inner child, and he is about to play this game with heart and soul. He's about to.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Hey man, fuck that. He touched the ass chin with the finger in the middle. So, y'all get ready. This motherfucking game's about to be fired up. J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, and Whitney Merciless gonna make some plays today. So y'all get ready.
You did it.
They gonna learn who Duke guys are for, and everybody, and Mr. Andre House, Clear Cancer, is gonna motherfucking put that motherfucking Hodgkin lymphoma dick all up and down that fucking.
Did you just say Hodgkin's lymphoma dick?
Yes, I did.
I got no comeback.
It's cancer free.
I don't know how to. I don't even know how to respond to that.
I think that's a wrap, man. I mean, how do you?
I can't do it better than
you got nothing else for that, man.
No, I don't think you could.
But man, here's the deal, man. Shout out to Wink. Shout out to Jaganoff for joining us. Shout out to Toxic City Tenny, man. I appreciate each one of y'all joining us, man. Hey, let's go ahead and get ready for this game. Should be a good game against two divisional teams, man. So I appreciate everybody coming through. Hey, Sauce Nation, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world, and I appreciate y'all. Remember, without y'all, there is no sauce. Y'all the sauce that makes the flavor fresh. But with that being said, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. We chunking up a deuce. We'll catch y'all in the post game. We out.